Yeah, it's a great morning. Good morning, everybody. We live and full effect. It's Friday, um, May 10th, 2024. We just, doing the best we can out here, living our best lives. Welcome back to the Daily Dose, the number one daily morning mastermind for those trying to elevate and grow in our personal, professional, entrepreneur, spiritual lives, right? Another day to get to it, another day to just be thankful. Let's go. We're gonna hop into the verse of the week. 2 Corinthians, verse 9, chapter 9, verse 6 to 8. But I say, he who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. So let each one give as he purposes in his heart, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver. And God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that you, always having all sufficiency in all things, may have an abundance for every good work. God is so good. God is so great. And the things like we've been talking about all week, whatever we put into whatever it is, that's what we're gonna get out of it. So we want to make sure that we are paying attention to everything that we consume, everything that we are putting all of our energy towards, and make sure that we are being vessels that God can use us, right? Know that God need to know that when he give us something, it's gonna be used for his purpose. Some of it will be used for his purpose. Specifically talking about money. We don't want to just consume all the money that we get. We got to be generous. We got to put the money in places that it needs to go. That's giving to people, that's investing in yourself, and that's also saving for a rainy day. In the Bible, it say we supposed to leave an inheritance for our children's children. So we don't need to be spending all the money that we get on just ourselves. We need to be thinking about that's 2 generations later. We need to be thinking about this stuff. So make sure that you are paying attention to where you are sowing your money, your energy, your time, your thoughts, because that's where you will also reap sparingly, right? And God said right here in this verse, you will always have a sufficiency in all things and have an abundance for every good work that you need to do. So God is great. He'll just allow you to do whatever it is as long as you living out the purpose that God put in your life. And a great example of this is Eric Thomas, man. He just took a whole bunch of kids to Disney World a few like a month ago or a few weeks ago. And he was just talking about how, like, that's what he felt like God wanted him to do, and God blessed him to be able to do it. It costs a lot of money. He had the kids staying at Disney World. But he was like, there was an abundance. He was like, we didn't eat all the snacks they gave us, all the free food. Like, he was like, we had to leave stuff there. He was like, there was just an abundance because he out here doing what he feel like God want him to do, and that's how it's always gonna be. Whenever you out here working and you doing the best that you can, just putting your energy, effort, and money where it's supposed to go, it's gonna always be in abundance. So just make sure that we will always remember that. Make sure that we're staying um cognizant of that as we live our lives. But let's hop right into the business topic for today: the top AI tools for content marketing. So yesterday we talked about the top AI tools for content creation. So we went over a few tools that help with copywriting, that help with writing, generating blog posts, that helps with image creation, that helps with video editing, that helps with audio editing. We went over all those tools yesterday. So today we're going to talk about tools that help you actually market that content and push it out, right? Number one, Market Muse. This is going to provide insight into content performance and identifies like gaps in your content's coverage, and it'll give you that recommendation for improving content quality and relevance. This is going to be very insightful for you to know, right? We also talked earlier in this week about how important data is. So this is going to be, like I said, you providing insights into content your performance, and it's going to identify those gaps, right? So where are you missing? Where are you not reaching the people that you need to reach, right? These tools, this is a super beneficial and helpful tool. And remember, as I'm talking about these things, I'm also learning and growing myself. So as I learn more about all of these things, I'm gonna be putting them into effect so y'all can see in real time, just documenting the process of what I'm doing. So if y'all got content, y'all trying to push it out there, these are the top AI tools that you need for content marketing. The next one is gonna be Atomic Reach. This is helps your content performance identify your audience preferences and provides recommendation for creating more engaging content and relevant content. Kind of similar tool, but the thing is about identifying your audience preferences. That's super key. I was listening to a Gary Vee video yesterday. He was talking about there was a CEO who was like back in it, like probably like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, was not trying to get on TikTok. He's like, you don't see the point in it. And Gary Vee told him, like, of course you don't. Like, you're 67, but your customers are in their 20s. They're going to be on TikTok. So we have to, it's not about our personal preference when it comes to business. It's about our audience's preferences, our customers and clients' preferences. So always remember that. And this is a tool that can be beneficial for that. Acro links. This will make sure that you're staying consistent and your quality is correct across all content channels. We have to remember content has to be different for each of the different channels, from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok to LinkedIn. All of these, it has to be different content. So it's going to analyze your tone, style, like your brand, all of these different things. You want to make sure you're maintaining your brand consistency. Um, and compliant so that you can stay in the algorithm and stay relevant, right? Stay relevant on whatever social um media outlet that you're using. Side note, I think it's so funny that everybody in the world knows the word algorithm now. And when I was in college, that was like a word. That was a computer science word. That was like a word nobody knew. If you would have said algorithm back in 2014, 2015, it was like, what are you talking about? What is the algorithm? But now it's just so common. I think it's hilarious. But boom, you got Seralytics. This helps marketers identify high performing content topics and formats, analyzes your engagement, competitive performance, and industry trends so that you can be able to see all of these things that you need to put out there, especially that high performing content topics and the format. The format's so important. It's huge, right? It's so hard to break off in that social media world. So you got to make sure that you are having high performing content topics and your format is good. BuzzSumo, content discovery and monitoring tool. These helps you identify the trending topics and popular content across all the social media platforms. So this will help you uncover content opportunities, um, which is important because it can easily be like, okay, what do I need to make content about, or what else is there to make content about? So we have AI scanning the market, scanning social media to see what's out there, what opportunity lies out there. It can be super beneficial and a super saver of time for you as you're starting to create content and get out into social media. And this one is Crayon. This is specifically for um, tracking and analyzing competitor websites, your product pages, and your marketing campaigns. So this is where you're going to really dive deep into your insights of yourself and your competitor, so you can see what is going on. You can see trends, and you can optimize your own marketing strategy. So this is literally a deep dive into your competitor website. You just type them in and see what they're doing. Like, okay, they tried this, they're doing this type of thing, and you can see what's working and what's not working. So that's a super strategy. In sports, they call this the scouting report, right? You really analyze what the other team does, what they do bad, what they do well, and how they're gonna roll it out. Everybody does this. So this is the AI tool for business that can help you get the upper hand on any competitors in your field. So these are some top AI tools for marketing your content, getting it out there, and making sure that you're staying optimized, making sure you're staying insightful on what you need to be doing and what you need to be putting out in order to make the best possible content. We're gonna hop into our self-development topic for today, and that's gonna be top books for harnessing your power, right? We all want to harness our power and live the best possible life that we can. We want to be powerful beings out here, and we want to be able to use our power in the best way, especially as it pertains to developing ourselves, how we look, how we think, how we feel, and how we act, and how we influence other people. Right. So here are the top books for doing that. Number one, the power, the power of your subconscious mind. This book is amazing. This book is super beneficial to understanding how our thoughts beyond our thoughts. So, of course, we know what our conscious mind is thinking. We know what we think about, but we can program our brain to automatically be thinking about the things that we want to do. If you haven't read that book, I would highly suggest reading the book. It's not a long read at all, but it's super, super insightful. The Yeah, it just goes it has practical steps, and it also has, stories to go off of, and shows how the different theories and the different concepts and how the book, wants, right? Like, for example, I give you one right now. I literally just opened the book and just flipped to a page. It says the 3 steps to success in prayer. Number 1, take a look at the problem. And then number 2, turn to the solution or way out known only to the subconscious mind. Number 3, rest in a sense of deep conviction that it is done, right? So what's the problem? And then like so it goes on to say, because this is so important. It says, do not weaken your prayer by saying, I wish I might be healed, or I hope so. Your feeling about the work to be done is the boss. Harmony is yours. Know that health is yours. Become intelligent by becoming a vehicle for the infinite healing power of the subconscious mind. Right. So it's just that, I mean, that's the basic steps of prayer. And it says it in the Bible as well. Like, you got to believe in what you're praying for. So it just give practical steps about a lot of different things, um, and how we can program our brain to really be powerful, so that we're not backtracking on anything that we say, anything that we want to do. Number two, this book, um, Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks a lot about um well, technically what it is, like becoming supernatural. Some of the concepts in this book, um, some people might say go against the Bible, but I say that they could be used hand in hand. And I won't necessarily go against, it's more so he's talking about biblical theories, but in scientific form. And sometimes it can be hard to correlate those things, because he's not specifically using God. But if you believe in God, you can understand how God is manifesting into everything, right? Or if you know that, then God is manifested in everything. But it just talks about really how to understand your energy, how to make certain things happen, um, that are that would some people would call supernatural, right? Like just how Jesus is doing, like healing people, casting out demons, walking on water, whatever the case it may be. It is he just uses, like, he really goes scientifically into this stuff, right? So you can think about, like, he talks about like brain waves, coherent brain waves and incoherent brain waves, how you transform those and into making your perception or what you want a reality, and so you can really live out your best life however you want to. Soar by TD Jakes, right? Great book about understanding who you are, where you are right now in life and uh how to take that and take off in flight. Really, that's the whole basis of the book. And he gives different stories about different successful people who have done that, and he also gives practical steps about being where you are, and being able to take flight from that experience or from where you are. Think, Think and Grow Rich. Amazing book, and it is the most practical book out here. When I say practical, I'm talking about every chapter is a step by step um guide of what to do in order to think and grow rich, harnessing your power to get rich. And rich as in rich in health, rich in wealth, rich in whatever you want to be rich in. But it's really talking about uh money. And God doesn't want us to be poor. He wants us to be rich. He wants us to have an abundance so that we can be, literally in the Bible it says, so that we can be lenders and not borrowers. We want to be able to harness that power and cultivate the power of receiving money, managing money, and using the money to the best ability so that it comes back to us in a great and abundant way. And in his last book, I don't have a physical copy, but it's Daring Greatly, How the Courage to Be Vulnerable Transforms the Way We Live, Love, Parent, and Lead. So a lot of people, when you think about power, you don't necessarily think about being vulnerable, right? It kind of might be the opposite, but when you understand how powerful being vulnerable is, it opens up the door for so many uh connections, relationships, and breakthrough with conversations and communications. And you need that in order to be powerful. You need that in order to be successful with your friends, with your coworkers, with your employees, with your parents, with your children. You need to understand how to be vulnerable in order to be successful and to be genuine and true to yourself. But yeah, that'll wrap it up. Those are the top books for harnessing your power, and those are the top AI tools for social media marketing. Hope everybody has a super blessed weekend, and we'll be